All right, guys, let's review today, April 15th, 2020. We're looking at the S&P 500 futures market, also known as the ES. If you recall from my morning video, I pointed out I saw multiple time frame divergences, bullish divergences off of the low at 54. So I expected, even though we were in this protracted downtrend, that we would have a bullish push into the open. And I believe somewhere in the video I even pointed out that it might not be the biggest push, but still in the markets that we're dealing with today, a little push of 20 to 30 points would be a great day for pretty much anyone. So I expected that. I also pointed out somewhere halfway through the video when I was looking at the 27-minute chart that because of what I was seeing on RVI at that moment live in the market, I expected, even though I said 54, I expected a push of a point or a few points below that to give us that final bullish divergence to get the bigger move. And that's essentially what happened. That is what happened. And yeah, so far it's been, in my opinion, a pretty easy day. That is if you didn't get messed up in the chop this morning. I want to jump down to the 3-minute and just kind of review what happened on really small time frames. So you can see two of my trades. So there was the morning, and I started recording the video somewhere around here, which is too bad because I said we were probably going to push up because of the divergence. I probably should have entered here at this 61.8 retracement and taken it, but I didn't. I might have been recording the video at that time. So we got the bounce, and what I said originally was if we get that, if the RVI continues the way I expected it to on the 27-minute, we were going to eventually make a newer low, not by much, and then make the bigger bounce. And eventually we got it. Came all the way down. And then right here, this is when the day started to get a little tricky. It might have even been tricky right here for some people. But we broke down, so then that gave everyone the indication that maybe this bullish move was not going to happen. And even I started to get bearish here, and I think it was somewhere around 7:30 I drew in, right around 7:30 before that high, I drew in these trend lines. And I basically said, because of my bullish divergence this morning, despite the protracted downtrend, despite us breaking down in the morning, I think we're going to break this trend line to the upside. And I posted it, I believe, on Facebook, and then in my trading group, we were all talking about it. And so we were waiting here, and it was just up and down. You would have been chopped up if you were expecting a trend. And sure enough, we broke right out. It's almost kind of like my first video that I did here 2-3 weeks ago. We had the trend line, we broke above it, and I said, if we break this, then I think 100% we're going to test this high at 27.80. And if we can get through that, then we've got these other levels to look for. And that's pretty much exactly what it did. We broke through, we got 80. And then we broke up again. So it was, in my opinion, for me, it was a fairly easy day. I didn't walk away with as much as I wanted to. A little over 10, 15 points here, and some couple ticks, 20 ticks on oil. But if you just follow the patterns, and you don't get too caught up in the minutia of this really small time frames, it ended up being a pretty straightforward day. If you look at all these retracements and stuff, like I said this morning, we got this push just before the open, we pulled back. Is it surprising that we bounced there? It happens all the time, and it did. And you could have gotten 10, 15, was it almost 20 points before the market even opened. So textbook. And if you look at a lot of these moves on a super small time scale, we're looking at a 512 tick chart that sometimes it's really only a few seconds. The market's moving in a super predictable way. I don't know how to explain it, but I mean, look at just this little leg. we got 61.8. You got to bounce off here of 61.8 of that whole leg. Just picking random spots. I mean, here you have a leg from this high all the way to this. Where do we stop? Right at the 50%. I see this happen almost every leg. You have like a 70% chance it's going to land at one of these levels. And you can draw them all day. You can do it right here. Again, 50%. Okay, then we start going back up right here. 61%. I mean, just this little box here. It seems on some days, especially trending and stuff, it's almost like 100% of the time you're going to get a reaction at one of these levels. Let me zoom out. And again, even on the really big time, like even if you go out on my 3 minute here and you do the same thing, like this morning, 27.99 down to the low at 27.54. Where did we touch this morning? Exactly the 61.8. So that's why I love using fibs in conjunction with these levels and the divergences. For me, it's very powerful, and on days when I'm in the right frame of mind, I'm calling these moves pretty much 90% of the time. Of course, there are days where I'm not there and everything's not working, but I bring that down to psychology. But these retracements, these specific levels, and the divergences, they just work over and over again. So I hope you guys got some value out of this. I'm just doing this to toot my horn and solidify the things that I'm learning by trying to explain them on a daily basis. So I hope you guys didn't get bored and you learned something from this. Thanks. Bye-bye.